Yeah. That's not. I don't know if that's good or not. Who knows?
They're crazy expensive, and we have one. I don't understand how they're still in business though, because you never see the parking lot full. There's always like one person at the register and
You.
maybe five people in the store.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, there was one down the street from us.
hmm It's still open, still
I'm
crazy
not going there
expensive.
ever. I never went there. They look expensive.
Their clearance rack, amazing. Amazing. Everything else, no.
Oh my god, yo, if this was an episode on camera, that'd be so funny, man. That would be so funny. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit the music. Oh man, we're not gonna keep y'all long today, man. Experiencing sinuses for the second and a half time of my life. Is absolutely the most annoying thing ever, man. And yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. How y'all feeling out there? Y'all doing all right? Have you been taking care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially? I hope so. I've been doing that. I got a new series, kind of, sort of, on my Instagram, or on the From My Experience podcast Instagram, called Walking Thoughts. You should check it out. We gonna get into one topic today, y'all. One topic. Thank God for royalty-free music.
Mm.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rob, host of From My Experience podcast, back with another episode. I am not alone. I had to co-host this with the mostest with me, Erica. What is
If we had cameras, they already know what's going on.
No, they don't. Tell them what's going on.
Okay, so I'm sitting here taking some braids out.
Heavenly,
And
Heavenly Father.
yeah, so not my usual bonnet as you usually see. Well, as Rob usually sees. Y'all don't be seeing it. But yeah.
Bonnet coming to a screen near you.
Yes, with the black hood.
Yep, and we are brought to you by the Alive Podcast Network. Download the Alive Podcast app where you can listen to elevated black voices, and you can support your favorite podcast like us by subscribing. Hey, yep, so download Alive Podcast Network app on iOS or Android. That link is in the description of the show. We are excited about that, and there are going to be some great things coming, y'all. Great things coming. You know, we've been talking a long time on this podcast about taking things to the next level, and I move methodically. I move when it's time to move, and I also move when I know that I'm ready to take on more and to do more, because if I do it, I want to do it right, and I want to do it consistently, much like this podcast. And I want to give a huge shout out to my last guest, Ayana Light. Ayana, that was an awesome episode we did last week, episode 350, yo. Hold on, let me hit the here world, here, where did it do, here world, man, 350 episodes. It's amazing. I did a thank you video on social media. Y'all can check out on FME_podcast. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode with Ayana, please listen to it, man. She has a powerful story. She's been through a lot. She probably has a story that you can, well, not even probably. She has a story you can relate to. We've all had tough times with different challenges, but she healed along the way, and you know, things just got better for her, man. And she really worked hard to take control of her life and take control of her time. And that is something that I aspire to do myself. Okay, y'all, we are just going to get right to it today. I need to apologize in advance. You may hear a little bit of different sound today. I may be muting myself, so you may hear a little bit of background noise cutting in and out because this allergy thing I got going on has me coughing like crazy. Like, I'm not sick. Like, I'm good, but like I cannot stop coughing. I done bought the nasal spray and I stuck it up my nose and sprayed it. I felt like a junkie from RoboCop 2. Give me some nuke, man. I need some nuke. Like, that's how I felt, yo. Like, my dad used to use these joints, yo. Crazy. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. And we have one topic, and actually this is a very important topic, which is actually inspiring me to reach back out to some of my financial guru friends and have them on the show. And that topic is, with the landscape of 9-to-5 jobs changing, what are you doing to secure your financial future? So I'm going to preface this by saying I am going to be sharing, well, we're going to be sharing, I'm going to be speaking for Ericca. We're going to be sharing our thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this about what we're doing and what we plan to do. But do not take this as expert advice. I always tell people this, no matter what we talk about or discuss, please do your own research. Please talk to a professional who does this, who is licensed or has the experience or has a degree. One thing I will speak on is real estate, because I did that for 5 years. I was licensed. I've helped people buy and sell property, and I've seen the ins and outs of certain processes. But still, yet and still, make sure you do your own research, man. So, Ericca, I'll start with this question.
Okay.
As someone who's looked for a job recently myself, and I think not too long ago you might have been snooping, just to peruse. But anyway, do you think in the next, I would say 10 to 15 years, 9-to-5 jobs will be as prevalent as they are now? Like, what kind of shifts do you think we'll see happening?
Well, I think this is coming at a really great time because I feel like I just had this conversation with not just my mom, but like some of my like family friends. I think it's gonna be a shift into blue collar trades, which is not a bad thing at all. Not a bad thing at all. Because I've been telling my mom, we've been having these type of conversations where it's like, when I was younger, they kept pushing the narrative, go to school, get a degree,
Same.
everything like that. And we're hundreds of thousands in debt. And I'm like, if everyone is doing this push, but then it also feels like this goalpost is being moved constantly every time we get closer and closer to it. I was like, you notice how we don't have any like seamstress anymore? Well, how we don't have like certain things that you go to someone for service. You don't see that often anymore. I said, you don't see that. You don't see a lot of, because there was a time, I think last year, I was looking for a tailor for all of my work clothes, trying to get them tailored to me because I was like trying to make sure that everything was crisp, clean cut, all of it. I said, you don't get that like shoe repair. You don't get any of that. It's very difficult to find people. And I said, it's like, it's one of those dying industries where you don't really see a lot of people that are there. And it's a very like niche, I'll say, very niche category. And if everyone's in school and everything like that, and we're all fighting for these corporate desk jobs, 9-to-5s, everything, I was like, there's no one that's going to be around. And I even asked my mom, like, hey, can you please teach me how to sew? Like, I know I asked you so many years ago, but can you please teach me? Because certain basics and certain skills, you don't see them anymore. And I think with how everything is going, I think we are going to see a major shift in that. Like one of my family friends, she said that her son, he was going to school and he was focusing on cybersecurity, but now he wants to go to trade school because he wants to go into HVAC. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I was like, that's something that you don't see anymore. You don't get that type of opportunity presented to people anymore. You don't get cosmetology presented to people anymore. Like that was a big thing when I was in high school, and you just don't see stuff like that. So I think it'll be a major shift because also the rising costs of higher education and also the fact of student loans like that. And it just sounds like it's being, I don't know, it's getting challenging trying to get into higher education where the goalpost is just being moved constantly. So I do think a lot of people are going to switch.
Interesting. Interesting you say that. I think for sure, entrepreneurship is going to definitely, I mean, it's already picking up. And trades are definitely a great idea. Plumbers, electricians, those niche things, HVAC, stuff like that. There's so many more. Carpentry, anything to do with a house or some type of system or service. I mean, everybody needs electricity pretty much. Any viable business, unless you're, even farms, like most viable businesses need electricity, some type of plumbing. Like, these are things where you're always going to have work no matter what. Even if there's a company with one real employee and everything else is AI and robots, they're still going to need people to fix and work on these things. So
Yeah.
I think conversations are definitely shifting to where people are like, hey, talking to their kids about alternatives. And I'm even starting to see it more on social media. There was a guy who posted the other day sitting in his car showing his money, he was like, hey kids, man, don't let these hustlers fool you. He was like, this is how many hours I worked this week. He worked 40 hours and he showed how much money he made as a plumber, But beyond that, those are just handy skills in general. We talked a few episodes ago about like wanting like a piece of land with like, our own community. And that'd be dope if you had an in-house plumber, in-house carpenter, in-house electricians to take care of things. But also, I think just company culture is described extremely well when it comes to jobs in these companies and their job descriptions, but when you get there, it is
I'll be damned.
When you get there and start working there,
I'll be damned.
It is a much different experience a lot of the times. I think that's part of the problem. I think company culture suffers a lot. Even when I think about growing up, when I saw commercials and how companies really pushed themselves, like they were really big on talking about their culture and exuding the culture, and people would talk about it and like it. And now I see more people talking about how they don't like it and how it's toxic and stuff like that. But also, it's highly competitive. It is very competitive. Like, as someone who's, looked for jobs not too long ago, looking at the jobs that I'm qualified for, where LinkedIn says, oh, you'll be a top applicant. You're seeing literally hundreds, if not 2 to 3 or 5,000 people applying for what may be 1, maybe 2 roles. And those are probably just the external people, because a lot of the times when a company posts a role like that, it's already been talked about internally, and they probably have someone lined up internally to get that role already anyway. But I guess there's some type of legal thing to where they have to post it publicly for a certain amount of time or something like that. But typically, sometimes those jobs are already pretty much lined up for somebody else. So it's really like a game of connections and luck sometimes. So one thing that I do like, and I actually talked about this in my personal story, complete_vision, when I couldn't sleep last night. I talked about how what we're truly fighting for, people call it different things, money, success, peace, comfort, all that. What we're really fighting for is control. We want control and we want options. We're fighting for options. Let me correct myself. We want to have the option to do what we want, when we want, how we want. That's what we're ultimately working towards, because we don't like to be under other people's rules. We don't like to be under other people's standards. We don't like to be working at people's discretion and doing it their way. We want to do it our way. But in order to do that, you got to build a business and you have to be self-sufficient. So I think it's very important to look at how you can secure your own financial future without a job, because if that job is stressing you, and you can't leave because you can't find anything else, your only alternative is to do something for yourself or take something lesser or maybe even work 2 jobs, but who wants to do that, right? So you're right. I think this upcoming generation has a lot to think about. Parents have a lot to think about when it comes to what they're going to talk to their kids about in regard to their future. But it's very different for someone like me who's 40. And when I grew up, you know, my mom, my dad, all their friends, they get a job and they stay. Mm-hmm. Companies had pensions and all these things, and people will work somewhere 20, 30 years. Now, man, you work somewhere 2, 3, maybe 4 years, maybe 5. And if you want more money, significantly more money, you got to leave. Like, yeah. I did that in my last job. Like, my last job, like, I got 2 raises while I was there. Doing pretty good, doing okay. But then I started checking the landscape to see, okay, you know, I got some experience outside the classroom. Corporate obviously pays more, different world, different experience. Made me miss teaching more, for sure. Made me miss my summers off more, for sure. But there are trade-offs, right? Like, I had to work all summer, or typically had to have a second job. But I loved the work that I did every day. But, you know, when you look at the landscape after you've been somewhere a while and say, all right, let me just put my title in to see what people are paying. And you look at what you currently making and what you could be making somewhere else, it's like,
I'll be down. I'll be down.
It's a big wake-up call.
It's a big wake-up call because you're not going to get that where you're working unless you give them like 10 more years. So people tend to jump ship. So staying at one company for the rest of your life, unless you're like some big financial broker or something like that where there's like really, really, really high income. And even those people jump around, right? I don't think it exists anymore. So to your point, trades and I think entrepreneurship are definitely going to pick up.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you said it about workplace culture has changed so much. Like, I remember growing up, my dad, he was at like his jobs for like 13 years, like 12 years, 5 years, 10 years. And it's like, it was to the point where it's like, these were people that like knew him, knew us, like knew our family. Like, they all practically had kids around the same age as me and my brother growing up and everything, where it felt like, yes, you're going to work, but these are also people that you connect with on different levels. Like, we can relate. We have kids, we're married, this, that, the third. Now it just seems that workplace culture, as you mentioned, highly competitive, 1. 2, you're competing against all these different age ranges and all these different people that are in different stages of their life as you are. And it just doesn't seem as, I don't know how to describe it, but it's very different than how it used to be. It seemed like workplace culture back then was more about focusing, emphasizing on retaining employees.
Yep.
Here, it kind of makes you feel like you're in an apartment at a leasing company where they want to rotate because they want to see how little they can give you for the same amount of work. Because I remember leaving a job, like one of my first jobs ever after school, and I was making some money, but not really a lot or anything like that, as much as you could in an entry-level role for corporate and everything. And I remember I put my 2 weeks in and I was leaving so that I could finally get to a place where I was like, okay, I've been at this place 2 years. I'm not getting a promotion. Like, yeah, like these little incentives are good here and there, but like, it's nothing to make me want to stay. It was like, over it. I put my 2 weeks in. I found my other job. I said, okay, finally, I'm getting paid what I think I should be getting paid. I'm climbing up the corporate ladder just a little bit, new title. And they asked me if I had anyone that they could recommend or anything like that for the job, for my position or whatever. And I was like recommending my friend, and I was helping her with her resume and stuff. And she told me the pay that they were offering her, and it was like $15K less than what I was getting at that job. And I said, oh, so you guys decreased the pay and added more work on. And I said, and now that's how much the pay is for that job. And I just think that's a little bit crazy where they just keep changing it. And then, you know, it's also a sad thing too to realize when you do want to stay at a company, And I think a lot of like jobs, I guess, don't realize this, or maybe they just don't care. But it's actually really sad when you do want to stay at a company and have that loyalty because you like the team members that you're working with, you like your colleagues, you like the workplace culture, and they still won't budge on paying you something that, if when you actually look it up and the cost of living,
Yeah.
you should be getting paid.
Livable wages, man. It's to me.
They can't be surprised.
Yeah, I think it's a simple. Well, I say that it's probably not simple because I don't know the back end of things, right, and how companies operate financially. But I feel like there's always room to do better for your employees. But
Yeah.
the thing is, if you keep your employees happy, your workplace is going to run more efficiently and more effectively. Like I haven't seen a story yet where companies pay people what they deserve and their employees are happy and they fail. I haven't seen
Yeah.
that. And you see like clips now. Obviously, I need to do more research, but you see clips and you hear about how people work in other countries, 4-day work weeks, unlimited
Oh my
PTO,
gosh.
bonus structures, and all kind of stuff because people stay in loyalty. It's like take care of your people. Like just take care of your people. If you had the room to take care of your people, the profits will come. Because I've seen on LinkedIn, don't know if it's true, but they say it costs more to hire somebody new than to promote the people you already have. And that makes
Yeah.
sense because you're hiring someone new, you're putting it through the intake process. Meanwhile, you're stretching your team a little bit because they're taking care of that person's duties until they get trained up to be able to do the role, and then you got to hope that that person stays. Like, you got to hope that that person stays. But when you have someone who's been there a year or 2 or 3, at least at a minimum, they have the capacity to stay. And if they, depending on their record, they're dependable. They know the role. So, reward them. Like, my last job when I was working at Dish, honestly, if there was one of the biggest reasons, well, I left for a couple reasons, but one of the biggest reasons I left was just the lack of options for upward mobility. Like, basically, and I would have ran into what you're talking about. Basically, for me to make the kind of money I needed to make, I would have had to move to where headquarters is, which is Colorado. And even with that, the pay did not match the cost of living at all because I traveled to Colorado for some work. And, me and my friend, not my friend, me and friend, coworker, whatever, went out to eat and we were looking at the houses. Oh, it's a beautiful neighborhood. Man, we Googled that neighborhood when we got back to the hotel room. Them houses was like 600,000, 500,000. And the positions I was looking at was only paying like 70 or 80,000.
Exactly.
And I'm like, and then I would have had to move across the country. Like, nah. So, yeah, I think more companies need to really take a step back, whoever's on the business side, and really analyze the landscape and really look at the true cost of living to see what it takes to really help pay people a livable wage. And, I can't tell you how to run your business, but if you see a lot of people starting to leave and you putting out these employee surveys and you seeing people are unhappy, it may not always be directly linked to pay, but a lot of times it is. People inherently...
It's a driving fast.
Yeah, people inherently will tolerate more BS for more money.
Is it...
Like, they
legit
will.
what I say. I legit will say if a job, I'm like, you should not be stressing me out if the pay does not equate to it. I was like, the amount of money that you make doesn't equate to the urgency and the stress that you're trying to have. It doesn't.
That part. So I will say this. I doubt anyone in high school is listening to this, but I saw an unpopular opinion too. I'm gonna say this and then we'll move it on. Ramit Sethi, he has a book called "I Will Teach You How to Be Rich" or something like that. I need to read the book or finish the book years ago. Shameful. But anyway, he was on YouTube and he was like, "What's an unpopular opinion you have about like finances or something like that?" And one person was like, "Yeah, teaching finance and financial literacy in schools isn't the answer. It isn't it." And I was like, well, I see why that's unpopular because that sounds dumb. And I thought it was dumb because the kids now have the potential to earn significant money in middle and high school. Like they almost, if your child is creative enough and you help them, they probably won't even need summer jobs. There are things that they can do creatively with streaming, with opening up their own online shop. Just there's so many things they can do to actually earn money. They need the financial literacy to understand what this income is, what expenses are, what interest is, what's an investment. Like when they learn that at a young age, it helps them when they become older and get into the professional world because they understand how the money works and how it operates versus learning the hard way by maxing out a credit card or having to borrow money because you didn't stick to your budget. I think it's highly important that and then also, it'll teach them, in my opinion, I think it'll give them a greater appreciation for what their parents do and how parents are busting their ass for them because kids don't understand that. Like, I love my nephew to death. But every time he comes over here, he wants me to buy him a game. He ain't even finished the last one I got him. But he wants to buy me a game because, and he's young, so, obviously he ain't gonna get it yet. But it's like, dog, this ain't free. Like, I have to go wake up, work, earn this money. And then when you buy somebody else something, that money is gone. It leaves a hole for you. And you got to figure out how to fill that hole. So, I think, again, like you said earlier, trades are going to be important. I think entrepreneurship is going to be important. But I just thought that was a funny point. So moving forward, before we move forward, you got anything else on that?
I think you really covered everything. Just workplaces need to just try to do a little bit better, just a little bit.
Yeah, there's some small things you could do. There's a lot of things you can do. Especially if you have people in office, there's a lot you can do, man. Like go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to say. In office too. Continue.
No, I worked at a place.
I'll be damned.
And I gotta tell you that story off mic. But anyway, one thing I loved about them, they had a really nice break room. There was a variety. There's a variety of coffee. There was always a basket of free snacks. If I'm remembering correctly, there was a basket of fresh fruit, refrigerators nice and clean, affordable vending machines. They had a little arcade. There's like a pinball machine. One of the other machines that was in there that didn't work. I mean, it was old, but we used to always play the pinball machine. They had a cafeteria. The cafeteria food was absolutely delicious. You had to pay for it, but oh my gosh. Like, it was like college level. Like, there was a salad bar, there was a sandwich bar, then you had like 2 or 3 hot options, and I think there was like a hibachi option. Like, it was dope. Like, it made you feel like at home at work. It was a very comfortable environment, and it made you feel like a person, not like you're just walking in this drab building to toil over things all day and then go home. Like, there were strategically placed benches outside so we can go outside and get fresh air. We were encouraged to take breaks. Like, stuff like that, man, is important. But I digress. So, Ericca, I'll go first since you went first last time. What are you doing to secure your financial future? So, that is something, I'm glad I'm having this discussion with you because there's a lot I wish I would have known at your age that I would have started doing. People tried to tell me, but I was a rockhead ass nigga.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
I was, yo. Like, I thought I knew everything. One of the things that really hurt me, though, was losing my father when I did in college before he could really instill those lessons into me. Like, he gave me some stuff, but I didn't really realize it till I was older. I was one of those people who had to bump their head by making a lot of mistakes. And that changed my life because the issue with making those financial mistakes is, especially now, you have to recover, and it's very hard to recover from them. And feel how y'all want to feel about Joe Biden. Like, having my student loans forgiven was such a huge burden lifted off my shoulders. Like, it freed, like, my credit score immediately jumped. Like, it's not going to impact me when I get ready to buy a house. Like, my student loans were double my personal debt. Actually, at the time, probably triple of what my personal debt was. Like, I was straight. Personal debt wise, I was straight. It was the student loans tacking on that $70,000 to it, right? And sidebar, for those who have the argument of, oh, why don't people want to pay their student loans back? I was an educator. And one of the things that was pushed heavily to me in college is, oh, if you work for 10 years in education, your student loans are forgiven, all these programs. And then when you go apply for the program, you get denied. Or you read the fine print and it was like, well, you have to work at this particular type of school or you have to teach this particular type of subject. And I'm like, yo, like, if I would have known that, I would have moved differently. So it was just like a janky thing that people were doing. But as far as securing my financial future, unfortunately for me, at this stage, I have to take more risks. One thing I'm definitely going to do is invest in real estate. It is it is one of my comfort zones as far as investment goes. I kind of know how, at least in South Carolina, I know the ins and outs. I have a great mentor. Shout out to Corwin J. Millett, Exit Realty, Low Country Group. So I have a really great mentor that we're going to do some things together with. And it's something that I trust. And it's one of those things that I like to call a power industry. And I got to write this down. But the power industries are food, transportation, and housing. There's a couple more I can't think of right now. But I say that because people are always going to need to eat. Mm-hmm. Food going to have to travel across this country. Somebody got to cook it. Somebody serve it. Grocery store, whatever. If you get into food, there is always potential for you to make money and be successful because people have to eat. No matter what, we have to eat. I don't care what your diet plan is. There's nobody on this planet that is just living off water. Nobody. Like, people have to eat. Transportation. And when I say transportation, we got to get from point A to point B. Car, truck, bus. Same thing with driving trucks. Like, everything can't be transported by plane. Everything can't be transported by train. We need drivers. And then real estate. Everybody needs somewhere to live.
Yeah.
Hotels, extended stays, house, apartment, duplex. I was about to say baby house. What's the thing called? Tiny house, condo. Like, those are industries that are going to be here forever because we literally need them. There's a few, clothing is another one. But we literally need them. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, when I looked at that, I said this to myself years ago. I was like, all right, where do you want to be in this? And, real estate is where I landed. And that's one of my comfort zones. So that's one thing I'm definitely going to do is some real estate investing. And I'll give some more later, but I want to give you a chance to speak on it. So the look on your face is like, what?
Because when you said tiny homes, I said tiny homes are probably going to be a big surge in the future.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that because a lot of, I guess, like, now as everyone's getting older and everything like that. But my generation, I think from your generation all the way down to mine, and it's going to continue going, people are having a really difficult time finding housing. Yeah. Like an actual ability to own and purchase a property. And I feel like tiny homes, because all these, just do a first time homeowners program. Wrong. Half of these neighborhoods don't even allow you to do them. Okay. These HOA neighborhoods don't even allow it because they don't want you up in there. Yeah, it was a whole thing last year when I found out. I said, "Oh, just do a first-time homeowner." I was like, "Wrong." I said, "You gotta actually research the neighborhoods you want to look in, see if they even want you up in there." But I think tiny homes are gonna be a really big surge, and I don't know. I saw a news article about it too, basically as well. But enough about that. Oh, and also about these big companies have been buying out all of the houses and everything like that because
hell yeah.
they're treating them as investment properties because technically it is gonna get to a point where being able to own a home is gonna be so rare for a lot of people. It's gonna be a really hard and challenging thing to do because of these companies owning them and using them as investment properties where you're gonna constantly be renting no matter what, because at the end of the day you make more money by renting out rather than letting someone own something. You can see it now with how rent is going crazy because all these renters are paying the same price, if not more, than all the mortgage payments. So It's a little insane. But I guess what I am doing for myself financially, my one thing is adding to my skill set, doing
Oh,
certification because I know that with um I know I went through a career change and I had to do a pivot. And I know that for a lot of people, they may also have to do that as well, but that helps me get to a point where I can not be closed off to just one type of industry, one type of job where I am able to maneuver into various ones. I feel like that helps me a lot. Where it's like, yes, I could do media, yes, I could do journalism, but you can also see me at a desk. I could do some program work for you. Yes, I could do some marketing work for you. I can do financial data work for you. Anything to make me, I guess, not profitable, but in a sense where if hey, this isn't working out, I can always pivot. So that helps me a lot. And then all the skills end up going into each other at some point. So that's been one of the big things. And yes, take advantage of if your job says, "Oh yeah, we have trainings into the," just do it. Just do it before you put your 2 weeks in. Just do it. So,
I agree with you. Certifications are big.
mm-hmm.
And to that point, investing in yourself, man. And one of the things I'm
Yeah.
doing now, which I would, it's funny, I just said this to a frat brother. I haven't met you yet, but meet you soon. Um, Taking advantage of your network, man. I am connected to some great people doing great things, and our skill sets complement one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I said this a few episodes ago. I'm starting to branch out to some of my friends who have businesses who may need me to do some contract work for them. I think contract work is going to be very big too. Contract work
Yeah.
is scary because when the contract is up, or sometimes that contract ends early, that's it. But contract work does definitely pay significantly more. But
Mm-hmm.
it's contract work. Like, it's not there forever, which is why I'm doing more stuff. I'm trying to do more stuff with podcasting. I'm doing more stuff in the world of media. Like, my boy Carl. Shout out to my boy Carl Vann. Way to the Heart. We filmed the first episode a few weeks ago. So, gaining that experience, So when and if someone is doing something like that, I can throw my name in the hat. Hey, this is my skill set. What y'all doing over there? You need me to come through? What's up? I can do this, and this. Here's my fees. That kind of stuff. Looking into the gaming world, there's money to be made there as well. But back to the network part. When I was younger, I was trying to do it all on my own, and I think that was. And I've talked about this a ton on this podcast, and I'm not going to do that now. But self-made. Everybody want to be self-made. It was like, that sounded good, and you would think it gave you some type of status and stature, but in reality, the smart thing to do is take the people you know and love and trust, and if you do it together, the burden is lessened on everyone, and you could probably get there faster,
Yeah.
because you're spreading that workload. So, ooh, sorry, I had to let out a juicy burp. You're spreading out that workload, so it makes it easier on you and less stressful in the long run. So that's another thing I'm doing, is just collaborative work. I also do have, so insurance is another good way. And I'm going to have some insurance professionals on here, because there are policies to where you pay every month. And once you hit a certain threshold, you can then borrow against your policy. I mean, it's your money, and really what it does. And again, I'm not a professional. This is not expert advice. Please consult a professional. But, it just, you can borrow that money to use it for something else. I got one of those. That's definitely something else I'm going to invest into. And then I want to learn more about the stock market. I haven't. There's a couple of courses and things I want to take. Like, I'm really keeping an eye on Earn Your Leisure. I like what they're doing over there. Rashid Bilal was just in China, or he might still be there, learning about like what's going on over there, manufacturing wise, getting behind the scenes, Africa, and sharing the knowledge. And they have like a school in the course. Look at me giving them free promo. But they're one of the few people that I appreciate the transparency. Like, they come out every week giving out information, giving out tips. But, obviously, if you have something that is of value, there's nothing wrong with putting a price tag on it, right? So I'm thinking about doing that at some point. I got to save my coins because it ain't free and it ain't cheap.
Yeah.
But I think it's relatively affordable, and I think it'll pay off in the long run. So that's something else I'm looking to do. And I'm just always still just keeping my eye open for what naturally aligns. And to your point, I'm a teacher. I'm in instructional design. But I started to think about, well, what else can I do in the professional world? Because as an instructional designer, I don't want to be a people leader. I don't want to be a manager. To be honest with you, y'all, and I'm gonna just keep it transparent. Like, having a co-host on the podcast that I can work with and help is like the only management I ever want. Like Ericca, you're spoiling me because you're easy to get along with, right? I just don't think I'm a good leader in leader. Period. Really, that's not my thing. But I'm very good at relationship brokering. I'm very good at being the glue between the cracks. So I've been looking at like more customer success and client success roles. Like, once people are committed to a company, like investing in people's ongoing success. So looking into stuff like that. And then back to the real estate thing, wanting to build a course with my mentor. I'm going to keep a lid on it, but I want to build some courses with him so we can teach some people and train some people on some things so they can do some things and have some of that cha-ching coming in. And I think that's very important, and just back to what you said, those certifications and those skill sets will help you because, again, you can be an entrepreneur based off of that stuff. You can be a contractor off of that stuff. And it just opens doors. It opens doors for you. And this is another thing I'm going to say for y'all, man. Share your work, show your work. Share your work, show your work, share your work, show your work. You never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. Like, that's why I made sure to put out a video about the fact that we've done 350 episodes. That's why I make sure we have a Facebook group. I don't use it often, but we got a tickety-tockety. We have Instagram. You said you want to manage the TikTok page? Great.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I just posted. Hold on, let me see. It's fme.podcast.
Okay.
Thank God.
Because I am on TikTok like quite a bit.
Thankfully, I didn't put podcast like I do sometimes by accident. Okay, we'll have a TikTok conversation. I mean, I just post the same stuff that's from Instagram on there, but I'm putting the work out there so people can see what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So, because that's their first impression, so when people see 350, they automatically see consistency. Yeah. They don't know nothing else. They don't listen to a single solitary episode. They know we got 350 of them. You can't get there without sitting your behind down and recording and working. And that has carried me far. That is why a lot of people have hit me up to do certain things and ask me questions and seek guidance from me because I really do this. But sometimes you got to show you. You got to pop out and show niggas.
Yeah, I'll be damned.
Your mouth, though.
You got to do it sometimes, man. Your work will speak for you, man. And when your work speaks for you, other people begin to speak for you too. But I digress. Yeah, those are just some of the things that I'm doing. One of the other things, and I'll toss it to you, and we can get up out of here if you want. One of the other things that I would like to do, You know what? I think that's about it. The insurance thing, stocks, real estate, and whatever contract work I can do in the world of film, media, and entertainment, and maybe gaming. I think that's it. That's a pretty full plate. There's some other things out there. Oh, this is like, I'm not even going to say that because I don't want to make money. Well, anyway, I digress. That's it for me. That's all I can really think of right now, especially real estate. Definitely, I wouldn't mind figuring out how to get an apartment complex, duplexes, flips, rentals. Like, I'm here for it. And yeah, y'all, I will also say this, and I'll get up out of here for real, and pass it to Ericca. When it comes to real estate, you made a good point. Tiny houses, I think, are going to be important. Modular homes are going to be important too, because the manufacturing is different now. People are building houses in the factory and dropping them on the ground, right? But yeah, I will say this: anyone who's thinking about buying a house, be strategic and just watch the market. I am moving to the Atlanta area prayerfully by the end of the year, early next year. Man, it's probably going to be early next year at this point. We'll see. whatever God has planned for me. But what I've been doing is watching. Like I've done my research. I found a location where I want to live, right? And what I've noticed is that the market is correcting itself a little bit. What I thought I was going to be able to get 3 or 4 months ago has drastically changed. Pricing is actually coming down because I think people were overpriced for quite some time, especially for the quality of what I was looking at. And over the past couple weeks, like houses that, because I only search up to 250, and I ain't buying the 250,000. I don't think anyway. But some of the houses that I used to see, you know, sometimes when you look at houses, you see them same 2 or 3. Oh, that's the one with the little blue cat in the window, something stupid. And then you be like, oh wait, this one is not usually here. And then you see price cut. And I'm seeing $5,000 price cuts, $10,000, $15,000. I saw one the other day for like $25,000, and it's happening more and more often. I said, y'all correcting yourselves. You've been on the market too long. You're probably overpriced for where you are and what you have to offer with this property. So your opportunity may be coming. You have to keep an eye on it though. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Pass it on to Ericca. You got anything else on ways you want to secure your financial future, ma'am?
Just same thing. I would like to say probably is thinking of ways to add some creativity into entrepreneurship a little bit. And diving more into the skills that I have. So like with writing and things like that, I feel like I need to pick back up on that because I mean, my Amazon reviews, I was writing essays up on there. I said, yeah. I said, give me some pen and some paper. Yeah. But I definitely stuff like that, blogging, just doing anything, I guess, freelance work probably, because I still want to be like, yes, I work like a regular 9 to 5 and everything like that, but you still want to feel like you're feeling the creative side of you at the same time where you don't feel like you're losing out on retaining your skills or anything like that, keeping yourself fresh, keeping yourself sharp. And then also same thing with like I want to learn about stock market a little bit more. I think I want to ask my aunt a little bit more about that because I know that she's really into that type of stuff. My aunt and my dad just a little bit more because my dad's big finance dude. So that, and then I don't know, just thinking of different business ventures. I know that my mom, she does like a high yield savings account. So I'm like, okay, girl, I said, sit down with me and open up your laptop. Let me see what this is all about.
You got one yet?
But no. But I do have my retirement open.
I'm gonna tell you about one when we get off. I'll say it now. UFB Direct.
Okay.
I have one.
Let me write that down.
UFB Direct. I have one. I forget what the interest rate is on them right now. It's definitely high. And they're legit. I've put money in there because they're 100. I don't think they have a physical location, but I've put money in and I've taken money out. I've had zero issues. I do not have a card for that account. Didn't want one. Didn't need one. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with them, and yeah, I'm pissed off that I didn't do it when I was younger. Nah, dead ass. Like when you look and you see like you're getting $25 here, $27 there. I'm like, ow. Like imagine had I did this. Hell, imagine if I just started that 5 years ago, 2 years ago. Like
into your savings.
Right, exactly. Definitely check them out. And they have an app on your phone. You can link it to your bank account. I put money in there every month. And yeah, it's seamless. It's smooth. They have nice tracking. They have a simple, non-complicated process. I love it, man. But yeah, that's one of them. But continue. I'll cut you off.
No, you're fine. Because I'm like, the only one that I've heard about was Capital One. And I'm like, yeah, they're cool and all. But what's the other options? But, just that and just business adventures, thinking of different things. Like, I know I have some crazy ideas that I come up with or things that really get on my nerves where I want it to be fixed. I'm like, eventually there'll be some $1 million idea and you might see me on Shark Tank or something. But yeah, thinking.
One of the most powerful things you can do is start now. Carl Vann actually gave me this. Start identifying those friends you think you can do business with. Oh
my gosh.
It's what?
I do have a note. Didn't mean to cut you off. So there's a group of girls that I went to undergrad with, I think it's so cool. They probably don't know me, but I remember them, and we weren't friends or anything, but I knew their face. And I shouted them out all the time whenever I talk to people about it. They basically decided to come up with their own seltzers.
Oh,
They did a, it's three of them. They went in together, three best friends went in together, did a business plan, was able to defend it and get money for it
oh
to
yeah.
then work with a chemist
Mm.
for them to then get their seltzer. I think they have three flavors. It's like, um, it's a lemon drop, a mojito, and something else, right? And it's in stores now.
Wow.
Yes, and I just think it's the coolest thing seeing like three girls that you went to like undergrad with randomly come up with this idea for something niche that they were like, hey, like whenever we want to go to a party and get like a seltzer or anything like that, we don't see what we want to drink. And for all of them to go in on a business plan and back each other up, get the money, believe in each other, get it manufactured. I just think that's so cool.
That's dope, yo. You brought
Yeah.
up a good point. That's the other thing, y'all. There are tons of programs out there where they will fund you. You gotta
Yeah.
you gotta do a pitch competition. We've had Nicole Murphy on here from Barter Black. You can check out Barter Black. On Barter Black, you can barter. If you don't have money, you can barter services with people to help build your business. Charlemagne the God said, man, every opportunity is not attached to a paycheck. That experience and bartering can help you get to the next stage instead of always looking for the bag. I'm not saying ignore the bag, but yeah, there are opportunities out there for you to get money, man. Just a simple Google search. There's government grants. Like, there's money out there to help you. But yeah, hope y'all got some gems from this. If anything, the smallest thing, I hope this makes you sit down for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and really think about your financial future. I'm not saying you need to over obsess or stress over it, but I'm 40. And this is no slight. I ain't trying to be in Walmart, Target, Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats. I ain't trying to be that. No, I'm not trying to do that when I'm 65, 70, 80. And it's sad because some of them, not all, some people work because it makes you feel alive and it gives you vitality and they like working. But some people work like that because they have to work. Like, my mama ain't never working again. My mama is 71. He ain't working nobody else's damn job. She talked about it. She talks about it every now and again, but she don't have to work. But she not working nobody else's job. And I'm like, that's what I want to be able to do. When I say I
Yeah.
retire and I'm done, I want to be able to actually be done working. And then prayerfully by that point, not even prayerfully, by that point, my money will be making money for me. So I won't even have to worry about working. You know, I got time to make that happen, but I got to put in the work. So, all right, message to the brothers. All right, brothers. I cut myself off earlier. My boy Carl Vann, we were talking about something earlier. And he was like, sometimes when you talk to friends and y'all haven't talked in a while, you should be curious about your friends and your friendships and ask them things like, hey, what are you doing professionally now? Like, what are you getting into? Any of you invest in anything? I'm challenging y'all to do that. I'm challenging you to have different conversations with your friends. Having those different conversations opens the door. And I think about my friendship with Carl. We met in like 2007 through a mutual friend. Shout out to my homegirl Nika. Oh, shout out to Braylon who just graduated high school. Here, world, hero. What did it do? Here, world, hero. What did it do? Here, world. But I've known him since 2007. And when I first met Carl, he was doing photography. And then after that, he had a Greek emoji app that he was working on where the emojis were actually, we're going to have that conversation again. It was ahead of his time. Because emojis are wildly popular, but he had that app. He was always working and tinkering, which reminded me of me. But beyond that, we think similarly and we just always got along. And so we've always worked together. When I was doing real estate, I used to call him to do the photos of our property because he did such a great job. And we've just stayed connected over the years. So we're going on a 20-year friendship. But that's when I think about our friendship. When I think about our friendship and how we've grown over the years, it's because the conversation isn't the same old conversation. We're pushing the conversation forward, but also we're letting each other have our space. I don't feel like I need to be a part of everything Carl does, and Carl doesn't feel like he needs to be a part of everything that I do, but we discuss it, we toss ideas, and we help one another when it's there. It's just an easy, stress-free friendship, but one of the other things that exists between us that's really dope is just understanding. Like, I understand what it's like to get frustrated, busy, tired, and not wanting to do things, and so does he. And it's just a good balance, which is why I think he's one of the people that I'm probably going to be working with for the foreseeable future, honestly. So when that's what happens when you elevate the conversation. You'll eventually find that friend, old or new, that you can do those things with. But here's the thing, like, don't be offended or feel away if you don't end up being that person for someone. Like, everyone is not meant to do these things. Everyone just doesn't connect on a business level like that. It's just happenstance. Like my mentor, me and my mentor are going to do business together. He's older than me, and wiser than me. But one thing that I know how to do is shut my ass up and listen. Right? And he's already proven himself to me. Like, I've worked with him and seen his success, and he's been very transparent and just giving me like the game. So that's someone I'm going to work with. But, you know, the only reason that's happening is because we're having different types of conversations, and, you know, we both have motion. And that goes back to what I said earlier, man. Like, people need to see, if you want people to, you know, pour more into you, or you want those more of those opportunities to come towards you, put your work out there, man. Put yourself out there, and see what happens. Like, you'd be surprised at who's looking, or you'd be surprised that when you have a conversation with someone and you say something, their eyes get big. Like, again, I say it again, whenever I talk to someone, oh, you have a podcast, blah, blah, blah. And whenever I say how many, because I don't normally count the episodes, I only know we're at 350 because it's 350, right? But typically I tell people, oh, I got over 200 episodes. And then when I hit the 300s, I was like, oh, we got over 300 episodes. People's jaws hit the floor. You got that many? I'm like, yeah. Like, but it speaks for you, and it's not a lie. You can Google it. It's there. So again, brothers, I challenge you, man, when it comes to your homeboys or your friends or anyone you may be interested to work with, man, have the conversation. And I'll say this. This is one thing that I do. It's risky, but I've learned to... There's certain things I learned to... How can I say this? Know your threshold for risk. When it comes to investing, working for yourself or whatnot, there's risk involved. Sorry. Know your threshold for risk. Know when you need to say no, and know when you're not ready for something, right? You got to have that set in place, right? But humble yourself, because one thing that I do, I let people know what I don't know. Or I'll say like my mentor, I didn't know nothing about real estate, and I told him, I want you to teach me everything you know. I'll never forget that conversation. I said, I want you to teach me everything you know. And to show him how serious, I was teaching at the time, spent my entire spring break, which y'all know as teachers, spring break is critically important to teachers because you have way less holidays and time off in the spring than you do in the fall. So that is precious, 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 precious recovery and rest time. Very precious. I think it comes, I think spring break comes right after. No, is it after or before finals or state testing? I think it's right before state testing. Something significant happened. Benchmark testing, something stupid was always happening that was stressful around that time. But to show him I was serious, I spent my entire spring break 9 to 5 in his office. Like, I worked there because I'm like, yo, I really want you to show me. Like, when people, I think for the most part, when people see that you're humble and that you're willing to listen and learn, they're willing to pour more into you. Nobody wants to have, like, if I'm successful, I don't want to have to fight you to help you become successful. Like, you see I am successful. It can work. You see it being done. Why are you fighting me? Do I have to do it that way? Do I have to do it this way? Like, just listen, learn. And that's why I said earlier about learning yourself and knowing yourself. Know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, know what your tolerances are. And it's okay to say, you know what? Thank you for showing me that, man. I appreciate the knowledge. I don't think that's for me. And then back to your network. You know what? It's not for me, but I got a homeboy who I think you could help. I got a homegirl who I think, you know, would be great. I got a business partner or a past business partner or aunt or uncle or, hey, let me connect you with this school. Like, people remember stuff like that. And when they remember stuff like that, when they come across an opportunity that may be a fit for you, they're going to call your name. So that's what I think that kind of stuff is all about, man. Just continuing to network, be honest, because, you know, seeking knowledge is how you're going to get to it. Seeking knowledge is how you're going to get to it. And it also lets people know what level they need to meet you at. Like, if someone comes to me and say, oh, you know, I've been podcasting for 2 years, that's a different conversation than someone coming to me saying, hey, I don't know anything about podcasting other than listening to them. How does it work? Those are two totally different conversations I'm going to have. So, yeah, that's the message to the brothers. And we up out of here, man. We love y'all. 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 Episode 350. Oh, Lord have mercy. Happy Juneteenth, everyone.
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth. I thought about it like halfway through the show and I forgot to say it. Happy Juneteenth. And it's still fresh. Juneteenth is fresh. And I'm off on Juneteenth.
Me too.
It's on my work calendar. Hey.
Yeah.
Hold up. Let me get some praise.
Beside everybody who takes Friday off.
Wait, what'd you say?
But I'm side-eyeing people who taking Friday off. I said, it ain't your holiday. Why you take it? Why you make it 4-day weekend?
I wish I could do that. But, you know, my company said that these are blackout days.
What are blackout days?
Why they gotta be black? Days where business
Fair enough. I don't like being called the POC.
Blackout days are like when the company is basically like, these are like critical, this is a critical time period where critical business needs happen, so leave is a bit more restricted and we ask that you not take off during this time period. It doesn't mean that you can't, but you probably gonna get a side eye if you do. But we love it.
It ain't never that critical.
No comment. Part of the reason why people want to work for themselves. But we love y'all, man. Whatever you're doing out there, I'm about to restart this music because I know it's going to cut off. Whatever you're doing out there, showcase your work, man. Tap into your network. Elevate the conversation. Take the conversation to the next step. And if someone tells you no, that's okay. Can you point me in the direction of somebody you think would be open to it? You know, simple stuff like that. Wow, I only coughed twice this episode. But yeah. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all, man. We definitely appreciate y'all. And we're going to keep doing what we do. We want to continue to drop these gems. We want to continue to bring you interviews. We want to continue to bring you our thoughts, feelings, and sharing our experiences on a variety of topics. And we want to see y'all win, man. We want to see y'all win. Talk to somebody about your financial future. Until next time, take care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially. We'll catch y'all. Peace.
Bye-bye.